Okay, so the NC himself did the first X-Men movie. Now it's X2. I'm still kind of hoping that he might do the Logan movie though. Uh,
Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic guy. Remember it so you don't have to. And welcome back to X Month. Yeah, they get the idea. Well, with the first X-Men movie being a surprise hit, Fox wasted no time getting a sequel in the works and giving it a much bigger budget. This resulted in X2, X-Men United, the stupidest named movie in the franchise. Yeah, men was too hard for the kids to say, so we'll just put it under the title and make it look like a really cool math problem. Regardless, X-Men 2, X-Men United, because the X stands for X-Men. You're using the title twice, that's stupid! It was a big hit with critics and audiences. It was a smash at the box office, and for years, people would say this was the best X-Men movie. Because if equals wow, then okay equals... But once again, I have to ask, is it worthy of the praise? With how far comic book movies have come, did this add to moving them forward, or slow down progress at a time when we just couldn't see it? Well, let's prepare by once again fetishizing the color blue. Seriously, mutants are no other color? Let's take a look at X2, X-Men United. I mean, would you call it T2 Terminator's Back? The T already stands for Terminator. It doesn't add on. The film opens once again with Patrick Stewart
Deal with
talking about
it.
mutation, as well as this little sneak peek at future botched storylines. We cut to the White House where a suspicious figure appears to have appeared.
Excuse me, sir. Are you lost?
Mr. Assange, you know you're not allowed back here again. This is a mutant named Nightcrawler, played by Alan Cumming, giving us, let's be honest, the best part of the movie. This scene kicks ass, won't be surpassed, led by Paul Sarge to a blue font, it's surprisingly damn good heart. He seemingly tries to kill the president, but is stopped at the last minute. And after that fast-paced scene with awesome effects and a great makeup job, let's cut to a slow-as-shit scene with bad green screening and poorly glued Elvis sideburns. This is Wolverine, played once again by Hugh Jackman, exploring an abandoned lab at a dam where he was given his adamantium skeleton, and attacked a bag of exploding flour on the way out.
Come on, pay attention.
Meanwhile, at a museum, we see Xavier's students on a field trip led by Cyclops, played again by James Marsden, and Jean, played again by Famke Janssen. I do hope you enjoyed clips of her looking lost and confused, because that's all the character development you're gonna get out of her in this flick. A shame, she has so much of an identity in the last film, such as Wolverine liked her. She seems unable to control her powers and feels impending doom on the horizon.
I keep feeling something terrible's about to happen.
Hey, Psychic Droid can predict the future.
Something's happening in the food court.
Meanwhile, Rogue, played again by Anna Paquin, hangs with Bobby, Pyro, and Jack Black's Thrustface.
Hey!
Yeah, I get used to these obnoxiously warped Bryan Singer close-ups. This is kind of when he decided that's his style now. He uses it so much everybody looks like that creepy Humpty Dumpty from the Kinder commercials.
You both shaky.
Pyro uses his powers inappropriately when... Oh no, somewhere Zach Morris just said time out.
I didn't do this. I did.
Actually, this is the work of Xavier, played again by Patrick Stewart, who mentally freezes everybody, which is a power that several times in these movies would have saved the day. But when he says hypocritical stuff like,
Next time you feel like showing off, don't.
while showing off, just wiping a few memories would have been fine. You can't be surprised they don't really do logical things in this movie like hire a gardener.
Somehow I thought you were here to talk about school reform.
Meanwhile, at the White House, Brian Cox talks with the president and Senator Kelly, who is still Mystique in disguise.
Senator Kelly, this is Colonel William Stryker.
Striker!
He brings up that Xavier's school is a training ground for mutants that could possibly be planning an attack. Now, where would they get an idea like that?
The hell is that?
A jet that comes up out of the basketball court.
You'll notice the outlines of several flattened children around it.
You enter, you detain, you question, but the last thing we need to see is the body of a mutant kid on the 6 o'clock news.
Again, their basketball court seems perfectly capable of that.
Mr. Stryker, do you really want to turn this into some kind of war?
I was piloting Black Ops missions in the jungles of North Vietnam where you were sucking on your mama's tit at Woodstock, Kelly.
You're literally both the exact same age, but you show that youngster hippie. Meanwhile, Wolverine returns, but Bobby isn't so happy to see him because Rogue is so happy to see him.
Oh, this is Bobby.
I'm
He's
a
my...
boyfriend. Call me Iceman.
Okay, I'm Maverick. Which one of us is Goose? He tells Xavier he didn't find shit at the lab, but Xavier doesn't care because he just found someone to watch the kids while they completely abandon them again.
You would be kind enough to watch over the children tonight.
Once again, the 4 people who look after this gigantic place will be out. We can afford a military plane, but babysitters? Jean, accompanied by Storm, played again by Halle Berry. Thank God, accentless this time.
Has brown hair?
Track down the German-based Nightcrawler in, where else? Boston. Oh, those abandoned churches in Boston with people that speak English but speak German because it shows they're German. They force him to come down as he reveals that he had little control over his attack.
I could see it all happening, but I couldn't stop myself. It was like a bad dream. Perhaps he is testing me.
He talks like this every time someone brings up Son of the Mask. Meanwhile, Xavier and Cyclops visit Magneto, played again by Ian McKellen.
I'll take him from here.
It's all right, Scott.
Oh, if only he could read his mind to know that this was a trap. Yeah, nobody's powers make sense in these.
I didn't want to get down. I'm sorry, Charles.
I fought it. Face my broccoli and bean burrito of Nostrali Doom!
You should have killed me when you had the chance!
I'll get you next time. We'll meet again. You and I are not so different. I got a million of these. The leader of the X-Men, everybody. Reflexes like a cat. If it was Garfield. Dead. By the way, it'll be almost an hour before you see him again in the movie. I know X-Men fans hate Cyclops, but when X-Men itself hates Cyclops, I think there's a problem somewhere.
What?
So it turns out this giant school / military base / one-man guarded establishment doesn't have a security system. You want these children to die. As soldiers break in, tranquilizing them, forcing Wolverine and others to fight back. Yeah, remember what Xavier said at the end of the last movie when asked what he'll do if somebody tries to break in?
I feel a great swell of pity for the poor soul who comes to that school looking for trouble.
Glad to see he was totally prepared for that. No alarm system, no security, leaving the school completely abandoned except for one person looking after him.
Xavier's School for the Gifted, where children come first and go first.
Non-Russian Colossus finds a secret way out. Yeah, there's secret passages, but no alarm. Facebook has better security than you. As Rogue decides to separate from the group because she's Rogue. What would she know about fighting back?
Can we have a Wolverine scene though?
Who could it be? It's nice we finally see Wolverine digging into bad guys instead of chopping walls and fences and middle finger. But all of that stops when he recognizes a familiar voice.
Wolverine? How long has it been? I didn't realize Xavier was taking in animals. Even animals as unique as you.
Every line he has sounds like the narration for Big Fish.
I didn't realize Xavier was taking in animals.
All the same, I prefer to keep my bones unbroken.
Bobby puts an ice ring between them, and Wolverine leads them to the garage where he starts a car with his claw.
How does that work?
Because that's totally something he can do now. How the flaming shit does that work exactly?
Yeah, how does that work?
There we go.
I don't like uncomfortable silences.
You poor
Let it be known that X-Men hates in sync.
I would just listen to my own music. Or just go with 60s, 70s, or original soundtrack in movies and games.
While in the bar, we see a cameo that'll age great as Mystique, played again by Rebecca Romaine, tries to flirt with one of Magneto's guards.
I certainly hope so.
Now it's a Singer film. She injects him with iron while we see Stryker holds Xavier captive while controlling other mutants with a brain-altering drug. Naturally, this is injected into the brain by dropping a small amount of liquid behind the neck. Yeah, that's sure. It turns out Stryker's child is a powerful psychopath that he tortured until he gained back control. So this is all secretly a sequel for Brian Cox's Ring character?
My son is dead, just like the rest of you.
So, how about this place not having a ramp? What kind of bullshit is it? Okay, small talk over. Bobby invites everyone to his parents' house where they try to gain their senses and figure out what to do next.
These are my grandmother's.
I dug her up myself.
Thanks.
It looks like the guard Mystique injected carries the iron in his blood for Magneto to use as a weapon. I really don't think that's how iron in the bloodstream works, but who cares? It leads to a pretty badass scene. Code red. Marbles. We have marbles. This, on the other hand, looks a little silly. I just don't see riding a Roomba as especially threatening. I just want to play this sound effect over it. If Marvin the Martian flew in, this would be the greatest Marvel crossover ever. Meanwhile, Bobby's parents come home and discover for the first time that he's a mutant.
Bobby, have you tried not being a mutant?
There's a cable news channel I'm pretty sure says you can do that. Speaking of which, Iceman's brother named... Arnold, I need a nice pun. Frosty! Thank you. Calls the police on them.
Alright, the rest of you, on the ground, now!
Think he'll be fine. Pyro attacks them as Jean and Storm remind everybody they're in this movie as Wolverine gets up. You mean he didn't die? What? And Iceman leaves his family. Sad, I guess. I mean, we didn't get to know them well for their 2 minutes on screen, and the brother tried to have him killed. Even the mother's expression is out of focus, it matters so little. And she had the most lines. But, this is what it's all about. Seriously, you can move her a little to the left. About.
It's all right. You can come out.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about this. So Stryker's son controls Xavier's mind to make him control their version of Cerebro to kill all the mutants in the world. There, that took what? 5 seconds to explain? But the movie constantly cuts back to this slow-moving scene where the son is convincing him he's a lost girl. Xavier's back at the mansion, and he has to take her to Cerebro. And it drags on, and on, and on. Every time it cuts back to them, it brings everything to a screeching, monotonous halt. And the funny thing is, the illusion's not even needed. As soon as he's in there, the girl instructs him to kill all the mutants, which he attempts to do.
Find them all. Each one. Good. Kill them.
Well, clearly he would never do that, showing the son has complete control over his mind, so why even make all this up? Did you just want to give a tour of the damn place?
And to your right is a wall. And to your left is a wall. And to your right is a wall. And to your left is a naked pig.
Don't worry though, that's followed by a boring-ass plane chase as the military sees them as a threat and tries to shoot them down through Storm's tornadoes. Okay, so it's nice to see some bigger effects in these movies even though they do look a little fake, but again, it's X-Men, mutants, monsters, aliens. Why are we focusing on a military base they just randomly passed by? They didn't kidnap Xavier, they have no involvement in all this, so who cares? Hey, remember that one issue where they battled the greatest enemy, air traffic control? Probably not, because nobody would want to read it, so nobody will want to watch it! Rogue gets sucked out, though, because one of their seat belts are broken! I swear to God, they want every student dead. But Nightcrawler saves her, as they as well get saved by an unlikely comrade.
When will these people learn how to fly?
Ah, so even he hates what they did to Rogue.
I'm not a huge X-Men fan to begin with, like I said before. I'm